Welcome to the Ultimate Game Realms Unlicensed Game Series. My previous unlicensed game episode, I did 2 unlicensed NES games from American Game Cartridges, Inc. Both games were console ports from actual arcade games from Exidy, which the unlicensed console ports actually turned out to be hidden gems, if not as good as the arcade games.
But in this episode, I'm going to start off with the third and final game from American Game Cartridges, Inc. and conclude the story with American Game Cartridges, Inc. before moving on to the second game. The last game from American Game Cartridges, Inc. is titled Shockwave.
Shockwave. Now that title does sound familiar. Shockwave Assault? An early 90s CD-ROM game? Actually, the CD-ROM version has no connection with this unlicensed NES game. Unlike the other 2 unlicensed NES games from AGCI, this game is a straight-to-console game. Original in a way, but not good. Shockwave is the last unlicensed NES game from AGCI. Released in 1990, just like the other 2 games were. Only 3 games were released from American Game Cartridges, Inc., released in the same year. The box art for Shockwave looks like a lack of ass. But that title font for Shockwave, I swear I've seen it in another video game. Now what game was that? We'll get into that later. Let's just play the fucking game. Straight to the title screen, showing the gameplay on what to expect. 1 or 2 player option, alternative mode, not co-op. So the 2-player option is useless. Music sounds okay. Shockwave is a puzzle type game, kind of like the same puzzle style like Boulder Dash. But in Shockwave, you're this lame space miner collecting crystals that are left behind from an extinct alien race. And that's all you do in Shockwave is collect all crystals on each stage in order to advance. You can enter your name up to 8 digits. I name myself Asshead. Shockwave has a 3-digit password system to continue, which at least I have to give them credit for giving us a simple password entry. I mean, a lot of games at that time, good or bad, always want to make things difficult by giving us a long and complex password system, and it's always irritating as fuck when you have to deal with them. So far, that's the only plus side I can think about for Shockwave, is the simple password entry. Now moving on. You start out with 5 lives. Starting level 1. Okay, so you're this space dude flying around, collecting crystals and shooting blocks to get the crystals behind the blocks with your spark gun. The crack blocks can be destroyed. The solid blocks are to move out of the way. Well, sometimes. So far, this game doesn't appeal to me. And listen to that music. It's making my fucking ears bleed. I mean, the title menu music was okay, but now this level 1 music sounds like 1,000 keynotes constantly repeating over and over again. Thank goodness level 1 is simple. Now on to level 2. Now the music for level 2 is not as bad as the music from level 1, but level 2 is where the puzzles are starting to get more confusing. I mean, not all solid blocks move until you figure out a proper pattern, and this game does not give a clear pattern on what to do. It's one of those fucking guessing type games. And you have to finish the level before time runs out, or you lose a life. And then you have to start that level over again, which is common in games. Yes, it's one of those games that has a time limit that shouldn't be in a game like this. Now when you get on to level 3, this is where you start dealing with hostiles like these fire spitballs that bounce around all over the level. And you also have 3 hit points. You get hit 3 times, you lose a life. Level 3 is more difficult for the wrong reasons. I mean, when you shoot a block in the wrong direction, like if it gets stuck, you're screwed until you lose 1 life and start over. And by the way, the music for this level is second to driving me nuts from the level 1 music. This level is where I draw the line. Once I lose all my lives, then I'm done with Shockwave. And it looks like I have an option to continue. It doesn't seem like it has limited continues. I still don't give a shit because I'm not playing this game again. So, do I want to continue? Of course not. Game over for Shockwave. This game sucks, and it deserves to be shocked and fried to death. But Shockwave was only the icing on the shitcake of the second game that I'm going to talk about in this episode, which I'll get to in a moment as soon as I clear up one loose end. Now, Shockwave was the last game from American Game Cartridges Inc. As I said before, they only did 3 unlicensed game cartridges on the NES. The 2 games I did from American Game Cartridges Inc. from my previous unlicensed game episode were ported from the arcade, which were actually decent ports. But Shockwave is the only game that's like a crystal made out of silver excrement instead of a silver gem. And a true space miner should dissolve that crystal off the planet immediately.
So I now concluded all 3 of the unlicensed games from American Game Cartridges Inc. But I still haven't yet explained on how or why American Game Cartridges Inc. discontinued, and what their attempt at products was.
Before American Game Cartridges Inc. went under, they were planning on releasing more games on the NES, like another arcade game from XD, Crossbow, which was another arcade shooter from XD, except this arcade shooter uses a crossbow. Even if they did manage to pull off a console port of Crossbow, I wouldn't be too sure how they would execute it. I mean, they did okay with Chiller, but this game originally uses a crossbow peripheral, and the Zapper light gun wouldn't look professional for this game, so having a controller option for Crossbow would be a better idea. Unless if Nintendo come up with a crossbow peripheral for the system, that would probably work. But that shouldn't matter anyway, because Crossbow was never completed while in development. So Crossbow never did see the light of day on the NES. However, American Game Cartridges Inc. did develop one more game, but due to financial difficulties, they weren't able to release this game. But another game company that also makes unlicensed NES games managed to finish and release the game. American Video Entertainment. American Video Entertainment had been around since American Game Cartridges Inc., but American Video Entertainment had been around for 2 or 2.5 years longer. I'm not sure if both companies are connected, except for the game I'm just about to talk about in a minute. American Video Entertainment did approximately 19 games. Some of the games are basic type of games, and some games try to look all cool and shit, but they usually turn out to look like shit, and then when you play the games, they turn out to be pieces of shit.
I think I'm about ready to discuss and actually start out with the very last game from American Video Entertainment, released as late as 1992. And I believe this game is the worst of the bunch. American Game Cartridges Inc. started this game, but American Video Entertainment took over and approved it. But I sure the hell ain't gonna give this game an approval, but I'm still gonna give it a chance. And thanks to the legendary Angry Video Game Nerd, who introduced me to this game in the first place when I watched the review. Now here comes the ultimate shit cake of this episode. I don't call this ultimate, I call this a terrible shit cake. Wally Bear in the No Game. I can't fucking believe that I'm gonna take a bite into this fucking Bear Dookie cake. But Angry Video Game Nerd did. And now so will I. Because sometimes I could be one of the biggest fucking fools ever. And come to think of it, I would consider this half of the review as a reply and a tribute to the Angry Video Game Nerd. Let's just get this shit over with. Fuck.
Before we play the game, let's look at the game cartridge. And this is what all game cartridges from American Video Entertainment looks like. They're all black and they have this red circle sticker saying press here, which is always in the wrong spot. Witness Angry Video Game Nerd's review on Wally Bear in No Game Land. He managed to change the sticker into press here, you dumb fuck. Where would I be without Angry Video Game Nerd with all this? So you all know, I will be using save states through this game. Practically, I'm going to be doing that with most of the unlicensed games regardless. Because for games like this, because sometimes these games can be impossible if you don't have the time or the patience or reason to go through this game legit multiple times. Let's just play the fucking game. The title menu of a bizarre looking bear on the skateboard goes by the name of Wally. Wally Bear in a No Game was actually meant to be a message for children to say no to drugs, tobacco, alcohol, and strangers. This game was even designed in cooperation and endorsed by the American Medical Association and the National Clearinghouse for Alcohol and Drug Information. But from the looks of this game and how it plays and how it feels, it makes me wonder if the creators of the game were actually on drugs themselves. Probably were. Now starting the game with a briefing. Uncle Gary Grizzly has been planning a party for you in the No Game. Invite all your friends and try to reach his house before dark. Take care, Wally, and remember to say no, start smart, and don't start. Start smart and don't start. Okay, I don't think I haven't started smart for playing this game in the first place, because I must be a dumb fucking idiot. But I already did start the game and there's no turning back, so now I have to go through it. Now as you can take a look at the graphics and the designs, so far they look horrible. The wallpaper full of cherries or tomatoes or dingleberries. You also notice the mother is wearing a dress, but the father is wearing a t-shirt, but no pants. The whole fucking image is embarrassing. The game has too much brown in it. It's not because of bears. It's because the game is full of dung. Okay, let's just get through the gameplay and get this son of a bitch out of the way. It's a side-scroller game, and once again, the graphics are bad. But not worse compared to half of the other unlicensed games in the library. At least. the gameplay is certainly not good. You're a skateboarding riding hit bear, and what the fuck? You get hit by a bird, and then you're dead? Why would a bird want to kill a skateboard riding bear who's done no harm to them? And why is it that birds can kill a bear anyway? These birds look like harmless seagulls. I don't fucking know. And there's birds all over the fucking game, even in the sewers. Pathetic. The only way to protect yourself from those birds is that you have to duck, I guess. When you first start the game, you don't have anything to defend yourself with until you get this pizza look-like frisbee, and it has its unlimited ammo, as well as it could be your armor, because if you get hit, you still live, but you lose your frisbee ability until you find another one. Each level has a time limit, and you have 5 lives. If you die 5 times, then it's game over. No continues. That's bullshit. The frisbee is also your only main defense in this lame-ass game. If you don't have the frisbee, then the only way of getting through the stage is to avoid getting hit by hostiles. Man, this game could suck a golf ball through a grizzly's asshole. First level, I'm going through the neighborhood, avoiding these birds and these ugly designed bulldogs. Now, defending myself against attack dogs is one thing, but birds like these seagulls? Give me a fucking break. Then the next level is on the train. Then one of your no-gain allies tells you that Ricky the Rat tried to get another no-gain ally, Toby Turtle, to join Ricky's gang. And I have to prevent Toby from doing so. Now on the second level, on the subway, and what just jogged my memory? Now I remember where I saw that Shockwave logo before. It was from Wally Bear in a No Game, on the train, from an AVGN episode. There's also this AGCI logo too. The guys who started on this game in the first place. And there's a Crossbow logo, which was an unfinished NES port of an arcade game from Exidy. Whatever. And by the way, if you don't like the music in this game, you can actually turn it off by pressing the select button, which is a nice option to have. But the music in Wally Bear is actually kinda okay. Better than the music in Shockwave. Now let's crawl through the subway. There's also these skateboard icons all over the game. I'm not sure what the skateboard icon is for, probably for more armor or something. I didn't look it up to see for what it is, and I didn't give a shit. But all you're doing through the subway is dealing with multiple clones of Ricky the Rats who throws rocks at you. You can use your frisbees to your defense, or just avoid these rats by jumping over them. And the train stage is a rinse and repeat thing, because that's all you practically do, about average of 6 times. That's all there is to it. There was no challenge, and after you make it to the end of the stage, you manage to convince Toby the Turtle to say no from here on. The levels are repetitive most of the way through the game. When you advance through the 8 stages, you will eventually witness the parking lots and the sewers. The graphics are even more uglier than before. Time to time you'll run into other allies of the No Game by doing them favors when it clearly doesn't look like you're doing much. But if you make it to the end, you manage to achieve their goal for them anyway. The worst stage out of all is level 6. You have to jump pillar to pillar to make it to the right door without falling in or getting hit by these bits from these demon shit faces. So this is definitely one stage, or one part of the stage I have to use the save state for, because I keep falling in. The last stage, level 8. And you're crawling through the dark streets in your uncle's neighborhood. Doing the same old shit as before, except the difficulty increased a little. What I did this time was take the easier route, since I'm running out of patience with this game as it is, by jumping from platform to platform, until I make it to the door of the uncle's house. The last encounter I had to deal with was this Ricky the Rat asshole again. He was hanging out the door throwing bombs at me. And after I entered the door to the uncle's house, I beat the fucking game. And just like Wally's father, Uncle Grizzly is wearing a t-shirt with no fucking pants. Then Wally Bear and the No Game have a party. Woohoo! And that's all there is to it. My verdict on Wally Bear and No Game. The graphics and designs are pretty damn ugly. The characters all around are pathetic. The color palette is similar to a bathroom from a home of a hoarder. The controls are slippery. The story doesn't make any fucking sense. Lame-ass goals, mediocre music, repetitive backgrounds, repetitive stages, and repetitive gameplay. What else is there to address? Oh yes! A misleading idea for a game that's supposed to be an anti-drug campaign just to scam the parents into spending a quick buck for this butt-fuck to poison their kids. And if that was the case, I hope their parents sued the game makers for being suckered. So Wally Bear and the No Game is a complete pile of tweaker shit. And this tweaker shit should be flushed.
Since I was a fool for playing this game myself and not take angry video game nerds' advice, well, he says if I play the game I must be fucked up on drugs. Well, I don't do drugs. So there's gotta be another reason why I didn't take his advice. I guess it's just that I'm a fucking idiot. And now since I tested this game, I'm fully convinced that Wally Bear and the No Game is a complete waste of fucking time and a complete piece of shit. Let's take this fucking thing off.
Well, Shockwave may suck a pair of electric balls, but Wally Bear and the No Game is just a piece of bear dung. But the best of all news is I got all the American Game Cartridges Inc. games covered on the Unlicensed Game series. But there's plenty of more of American Video Entertainment games that I'm not going to go into anytime soon, because I got a few other Unlicensed Game episodes already booked. Whenever I'm ready, that is. But as of now, those Unlicensed Game episodes will be on standby because I'm going to take a break from the series to work on other Ultimate Gaming Realm projects. Until the next time, this is Dixon of the Ultimate Gaming Realm, logging off.